attention, grammar, only grammar.
Going already in schools, they follow the systematic method of learning language.
Stairs game like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And
first of all, it's nice to see you, teachers. I'm glad.
Oh, hi viewers, I'm very much delighted to inform you that today we are going to have International English Teachers meeting in this Google Meet meeting, and then we have teachers joining internationally from around the world. Especially we have English teacher Firoza joining from the country of Uzbekistan, and we have Zerifboy, future English teacher, at the moment joining from the country of Korea, the South Korea, and then we have English future teacher Noor joining from the country of Turkish, and then myself, my name is Nirat, I am joining from India. And then we are going to have discussion on how to teach English language teaching methods, and then learning methods of English language. What can be the teaching methods of English language, and what methods can be applied for learning English language? So based on this particular topic, we are going to have discussions, asking questions, answering questions with each other. So make sure that you watch this video from beginning till end. And so first question goes for Firoza. What most popular teaching methods of English language in your country?
I want to say I'm very glad to see you, all these international teachers. It is I think it will be very interesting to talk with you about teaching methods in English, exchange our opinions. I think it will be very good. To teach students two foreign languages, it is not easy thing, because it is a new language for our students, especially for young learners. And it will be very useful if you know how to involve them during the lessons. And for this reason, I tried to use a lot of different methods during my class. For example, I used daily routines like a game, and I used attention grabbers too, to attention my students while they stop at doing some, while they make noise during the class. And as a good teacher, you must, I think all teachers should plan first. Should plan your lesson. What do you want to get from your students and of your lesson? Your plan must be clear. For example, during my lessons, I used group works, pair works, and individual. I try to work with them individually too, because the most interesting for them, it is group work, because they have a chance to work in groups.
Hi everyone, I am Achilo Zarifboy. I'm from Uzbekistan, but I am living in Korea at the moment. There is a question and discussion topic is like, what's the effective way to improve English, or to how to learn English effectively for you, Noor? What kind of thing can you say for our students or for us?
Noor may answer.
Okay. First of all, it's nice to see you, teachers. I'm glad to be here. So I want to say this. In my country, lots of teachers care about our syllabus. This syllabus is arranged according to our Minister of Education programs, by the way. So as you know, that there are 4 skills to learn English. So always we use this method in our lessons. So I can say this. I'm international teacher for kids. So I use method for kids. For example, in my lesson, I use sing-song for kids, because you know that teaching English for kids is not easy, as you mentioned that Feriza teacher. So because of this reason, I use some of method in my lesson. I care about speaking practice, because in my school, my country, lots of teachers give grammar rules, lots of grammar rules. you know that grammar rules are very difficult to learn, and this is very hard to learn for kids. So I can say this: I prefer to practice speaking practice always. I care about these things. You know that okay, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There are four skills to learn English. These are very important. But we cares about speaking practice. In my lesson, by the way, I prefer to practice. Speaking is very important in English.
Okay, when it
What do you
comes to
prefer to teach?
okay, thank you for giving this chance for me. I think
I
the
can ask
way
Ian.
yeah, it's okay. The most effective way for me is memorizing new words while learning English. It's the best way, I think. Yeah, what should we do to learn new words? Study phrases, not words. Only we should study phrases, learn phrases, not words. Pay attention to this. When you study English or any language for that matter, you shouldn't learn individual words because memorizing them makes no sense without context. Instead, you should study whole phrases. Memorizing the meaning of words is much easier if you know that they mean and how they are used in a sentence. When you find a new words or phrase, think about how you could use it in sentence and try to use it in a conversation. And it's good way again learning English, I think, by listening, because while listening you can improve your grammar, your pronunciation, your speaking. Yes. While reading textbooks can help you learn the English language, you must not rely solely on them. Textbooks are great for teaching you about grammar and vocabulary, but they may not be too much of a help when it comes to carrying out a conversation. If you want to learn how to speak English, learn by listening and not by reading. By listening more, you will be able to learn useful vocabulary and grammar without even realizing or memorizing them. Maybe, yeah. For learning grammar, I think we have a good way, like point of view stories. It's a good way, I think. How can we do this? Firstly, one of the best ways to learn grammar is to listen to short stories told in various tenses. This will be help you improve your English grammar automatically and more naturally. For example, if a story starts with, I don't like banana, but I want to eat one. The other story should be, I didn't like bananas, but I wanted to eat one. There are two sentences, and there. And I think to improve listening, we can do like this while listening podcast or something like that. We shouldn't listen and answer. It's okay, not listen and repeat. If you want to improve your English, don't use the strategy used by English textbooks, which is to repeat after the speaker. Instead of mindlessly parroting the words or phrases spoken by the speaker, you should answer questions asked. For example, how? If you are listening to a podcast or video, pause it where every 20 to 30 seconds and create a brief summary of what has been said. The last two thing is practice every day, every day, every day. Decide how much time a week you are going to spend studying and stick to it. Remember, be realistic. And the last thing is practice the four core skills: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. They will all help you to improve in different ways. These are for me, and these are also my structure.
Very good. You have given the yes.
Zarif, I have question. How you teach listening to your students?
Okay.
How you will teach listening skills to your students?
Yeah, as I mentioned above, I think it's easy to improve your listening of your students. Firstly, managing time is a good way for listening for all sections. Maybe for listening, you can use podcasts, listen podcasts, or watching some kind of movies related to English. After that, yeah, one day one podcast or two podcasts are enough. Then listen, just listen,
No, no, no.
and
I mean, Zarif, sorry. I mean, your students, not you. You just give suggestion. Yes, understand?
firstly, yes, yeah. Firstly, it depends on the level of my students. Firstly, if my students like beginner, I try to give the small stories or the simple stories which created by simple
Sure.
words like hello, hi, how are you, and something like that. And it's a good way to improve listening, like with the help of songs or yeah, songs and with the help of some games.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, game is also good. Like firstly, the stairs game, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And one student put in the first stair, and he or she asks from him or her, "How are you?" and something like that. And the next one answered and asks from next one. Like this, maybe I can improve my students' level from listening.
I think it is one good way. If you will listen, then they will retell. This what they will say. What is the meaning of the listening? It is also, I think, good way
Yes, you're
for
right.
all the
Absolutely.
ages. Yes.
Okay, so now, dear friends, as you have given your opinions, it's nice to hear that. Now, let me talk about learning English language or teaching English language in my country. Actually, it depends on the level of students, what kind of student, especially the students, those who are school going students, they learn the language systematically from the beginning itself. The people, those who didn't have opportunity to learn language when they were as a kid. Now, if they want to learn language, because what happens, English is not our native language in our country. This is the second language. So we follow the method of learning language for the beginners, that is called the translation method of learning English language. Whatever I speak in English language, people do need to understand that in their own language. That gives them confidence of understanding English, as well as it builds their confidence of speaking English language also, because they do understand. If they don't understand, like if you were talking about listening is very important, but if we don't
Yes.
understand the meaning, then not going to we are not going to get confident in speaking that. So we are listening, but once we know the meaning, oh, what is the meaning of that particular word, then we are going to apply it in our speaking also. Fine. So when we talk about the level of learning language, like maybe the kids, those who are going already in schools, they follow the systematic method of learning language, which begins from the alphabet, the sounds, the grammar portion. A lot of exercises are there. They keep on learning language, something like that. Like the another large number of people, like workers, like employees, maybe some other people, those who didn't get opportunity to learn when they were as a kid, if they wish to learn language, so first of all, we do follow for them the methods of learning English language, that is called grammar translation, or else the translation method, teaching English language by translating into their own local languages, by which they understand first of all the language, and then they build up some sentences in that particular language, and then some words, meaning vocabulary, as the Jerry boy was talking about, because learning words without using them in sentences, it doesn't make sense at all. We try
Yes.
a lot of words, but then if we don't know how the words we do need to use in the sentences when it comes in speaking, so the learning words doesn't make sense. That's the useless, that's a waste of time. So firstly, they firstly understand the language by the translation methods and pick up few sentences in that language by translating, and then once they get the confidence of speaking, then they go for the advanced level of learning English. And then finally, I would say the best method to teach English or the learn English is all about the question answer method of teaching and learning English. Ask directly question to students in English and tell them to answer the questions in English language. The best method of learning English language can be found asking
Yes.
questions in English, answering questions in
But
directly. Like I'm
please.
asking you questions, you are answering. Maybe some questions you don't know how to answer, somebody has helped you to answer those questions. What we are doing here, we are trying to develop our language. Ultimately, we are developing the language. Any conversation, it begins with question. If we know how should we ask question in that particular language, that means we have little confidence to talk to someone in English language. Once we understand that questions, and then we are confident to answer in English language, so we are practicing our speaking in English language. This is what I guess. So there are a lot of other things also, like as you were mentioning, watching listening. A lot of things are there, but that's not possible to discuss within this one meeting. So it will take a lot of other meetings also. Go on. Yeah, ask questions, Firoza.
Yes, in my country before also we pay attention grammar, only grammar. To teach English to our students, we pay attention more grammar than speaking. But nowadays, our government paid a lot of money to Cambridge University, and they published it for our all public schools new textbooks, and our new textbooks are based for skills, and they, in that case, they pay attention all for skills, and mostly speaking skills. They pay attention, and in the time, not they pay attention. We must pay attention only our students' fluency, not accuracy. Do you understand me? They must try to say something in English. Not they think first it is grammar, like I must put in order my verbs like that. They must speak in natural way, in fluent way. We must teach them first. And today's our method is based on that one fluently. We try to feel our students more confident, and as you said, giving questions is a good method. But when I had training with American teachers, they said that don't give questions in direct way. For example, Ahmed, stand up and what is your name, or what do you want to be in future, like that. Don't give questions in direct way. Just first give them question. Let the student to think in his mind, and to share this question with his partner first, then with the whole class. Do you understand me? Because when you give the question indirectly, they will a bit confused, like they don't understand in first way. So that we must give them some time to think this question.
It means,
and
all right.
discuss.
Actually, this is it can be accomplished. Two things you were talking about. One is called the fluency, how to get fluent in English language. This is what the government is also paying attention in your country. So this only can be accomplished by listening more. The listening helps the fluency in the language, and then practice. After listening, to practice. The second,
Yes.
asking
And
question answer is question answer.
Yes.
Question answer is not that directly. That means having the question answer conversation based on various topics.
American trainer came and he showed us one master class, and in her lesson I observed, I learned a lot of interesting methods. She taught grammar lesson, but she didn't say any grammar rules. Any said like it is present simple. We will use it like that. She didn't say anything. She just used some activities. And while doing these while students doing these activities, they learn from these activities. And during one class, she made all students like moving. They all activities they will move. They gave lesson teenagers. It was teenagers. 15 years old. These teenagers. You know, in that age, most teenagers didn't want to move anywhere. Yes. Even you want to make some group, they just don't know, teacher, I don't move anywhere. I'm just sit here in my place. But that teacher made them to move during the class, during the one lesson. And I think we must also teach like this woman. We must. If we teach grammar lessons, it must be not only grammar rules. We mustn't say them learn these grammar rules and use this like that. We must teach them during the lesson grammar. I mean, okay.
We got you. Yeah,
Thank
this is
you.
also the main activities of
Okay.
English language without teaching the rules of grammar by and giving lot of ideas of speaking language. We
Yes. Yes.
the rules there, but we are not teaching the rules.
Uh-huh.
In the grammar by
And
practicing English language. Absolutely.